Hello, movie fans. Today I'm going to be talking about my least favorite forms of criticism, both negative criticisms and defenses that show up in movie reviews a lot, that I think are illegitimate and, overused and pretty stupid. Number 3, this movie was too long. Now, of course, movies can be too long, and that can make them not very good. Nothing's worse than watching a really long bad movie. But a movie being long isn't a flaw in and of itself. It seems lately that, a lot of people, more and more, look at just the fact that a movie's long is a flaw. Movies that come out lately aren't very long. Whenever a movie is like 160 something minutes, everyone's like, oh my god, almost 3 hours, holy shit. Aren't the classic old movies usually like 200 minutes or something? Wasn't Gone with the Wind 240 or something? Just all those classic movies, they're like 180 to 200 fucking 50. It's not that big a deal if it's long. And it's just like ridiculous. Wolf of Wall Street, that was, obviously almost pushed to next year because it's 180 minutes. Why aren't people expecting this? It's a Martin Scorsese movie. Casino was 180 minutes, The Aviator was 180 minutes, Gangs of New York was 170, so yeah, that's gotta end. Number 2. This movie was so implausible. Now, yeah, again, this is, a common thing. It is a definite, very common flaw in movies, especially, recent action movies. But, it's every single action movie that comes out, it seems like there are lots of critics who will always go, oh yeah, but, this thing happened and that wouldn't happen in real life, so this movie sucks. But it's a movie. It's a movie. That's what's supposed to happen. And even if we're not talking about like science fiction or fantasy or something, we're gonna have action scenes that are very implausible. Now, of course, it's bad if it gets too excessive, and we can't believe a goddamn thing. But remember, it's a movie. You gotta suspend your disbelief at least a little bit in some cases. This also ties into another problem I have with a lot of film critics. Every time there's a twist, and, it messes up the continuity of something just even a little bit, people flip out, oh, wait, but this happened, but that contradicts this thing that happened, this little thing that this person said, so there's a plot hole. This movie sucks, see? It's bad, it's stupid. I don't get why that ruins movies for so many people. If there's just like one little plot hole and that couldn't happen. Why is that what people focus on? Just focus on the way the movie's made and not how, there's one tiny thing that, oh, look, it contradicts, so this movie's dumb. No, it's not dumb. You're dumb. Get over it. And my number one least favorite type of criticism that's very overused and I absolutely hate it. This movie was too ambitious. What? What the fuck are you talking about? The words too ambitious should never, ever be said in a review. That's really dumb. Artists are supposed to do things, original and creative and offbeat and unconventional. So why do those people, the same critics who espouse that and give movies shit for being unoriginal and, just too cliched, seem like to be the same people who give movies shit when they try to be unconventional and different and weird. Last year's Cloud Atlas got tons of crap for being different and being strange. And yes, it was very, different than a lot of movies. So what? That movie is very heavy on themes. It has a lot of messages behind it, and it's different than most movies. Why is that a flaw? That's really what most people can only pick out is, oh yeah, what was up with this, and this was really weird. I really hate that, and Please Be on the Pines this year is another one. That movie does something halfway through, which is very different and takes an entirely different turn than people were expecting. And, people were like, oh, in people's reviews for that, I think I actually heard the words, this was too ambitious. This was too heavy on themes. No, I don't get why movies are discouraged for being heavy on themes and heavy, on unconventionality. That just discourages originality. The fact that people, artists have to be afraid that people are going to pan their movies for being different, that's totally goes against what, art is supposed to be. So, fuck you. Now for my 3 least favorite types of, defenses for movies that I think are bad. And my number 3 might seem like a contradiction of my last number 1, but, there's a difference between these two types of, this defense and criticism. Number 3 is you didn't understand this movie. Now, by, the people who say you don't understand this movie, I mean two different types of people, in this one. The first are movies with, really complicated plots and don't explain the plot in a good way at all, and people are confused and they're like, oh, well, I didn't get anything that happened. They're like, well, you just didn't understand it, so, you shouldn't criticize the movie. I mean, a movie should be able to be comprehensible to me. I mean, I should be able to understand what's going on. And, I mean, some people are really dumb and just can't follow along, and, those people are stupid, but a lot of movies just aren't well edited and, don't explain the plot very well. I mean, that happens. And there are the other type of defense, using these 3 words, or 4, whatever, are for movies that don't really make much sense, movies that are pretentious. I hate that term usually, but, I mean, there are definitely a lot of artsy-fartsy movies that, are really just pretentious and trying to be different, and people think they get it, and they really don't. And, when people say, hey, well, I don't think this makes sense, it's just weird, and they're like, well, yeah, you're stupid, and you don't understand it. I mean, that does happen. So that's a bad type of defense sometimes. Number 2, the oh-so-popular, it's just a dumb summer movie defense. I just, complained about people who complain about, implausibility in movies. But I mean, there are a lot of dumb movies out there, a lot of dumb action movies that are just have absolutely no sense of reality to it. I mean, A Good Day to Die Hard this year was the best example of one. Die Hard, the original, the reason John McClane was such, a memorable hero and everything was because we saw his pain. We saw that these things he was doing, though implausible, I mean, we could see that it hurt him, and that's what made us like him so much. He, suffered through all this pain and ended up actually beating the bad guy. In A Good Day to Die Hard, nothing hurts him. He can do anything, and he ends up beating the bad guy, which just isn't, that shouldn't faze me. They also use this defense, of course we all saw it when Transformers 2 came out, and it was almost 3 hours long, 3 hours of absolute shit action. And they're like, well, it's just a fun summer movie. I mean, it can do anything it wants, right? Because it came out in the summer, and it's an action movie. It can just be Michael Bay taking a shit, but it's a summer movie. It's a summer action movie, so I mean, just have fun with it. Just have fun with watching Michael Bay just take a shit. And yeah, that's a really dumb defense. It's a fun action movie. No, it's not fun. Okay, I don't think it's fun, so I'm not gonna have fun with it if I don't think it's fun. Idiots. And now for the worst type of common defense that I always see in fucking kids' movies. The kids will like it, so it's good. Remember when kids' movies were good kids' movies? When, makers of kids' movies actually put a lot of work in making it, an actual, sometimes educational, heartfelt movie that can appeal both to kids and adults, has a sense of humor that can entertain the younger, less sophisticated kids, and can just, amuse the adults and not make them roll their eyes at how stupid it is. Those kids' movies exist. Those are good kids' movies. The first couple Pixar movies, the original animated Disney movies, are good kids' movies. But there are several kids' movies that, just forget the adults, let's just get money, let's just entertain the kids with a few, animals that get, that take shits, and, just let's make a bunch of potty humor, and, let the little girls, say, oh, this, mouse or whatever is so adorable. Those are bad kids' movies. And people who defend those movies, adult film critics who defend those movies, are doing a bad thing, I think. Just because your kid enjoyed it, I mean, if you were sitting in the theater just, in pain, not laughing at anything, but hey, your kid was laughing at the cute animal, no, don't give it a positive review. I mean, you're the reason Pixar isn't making good movies anymore. You're the reason Pixar is, just defaulting to stupid humor, just stupid potty humor. You're the reason Pixar and Disney are just, resorting to childishness and, just forgetting the heart in their movies and forgetting any messages and just forgetting to add humor that can just, appeal to adults as well as kids. No, just entertain the kids for, an hour and a half, and then you have yourself a kids movie. You're the reason for all of this, just because you give it a good review because your kid laughed throughout it. I don't care if your kid laughs throughout it. I hate your kid. Your kid does not have a good taste in movies. No children do. No children who's 1 to 5 has a good taste in movies. So don't give your, review a positive grade because your kid felt positively about it. I mean, I'm on Rotten Tomatoes right now for Marmaduke, and there's actually just a review that says, will the kids like it? Quite possibly. Positive fucking tomato, like fresh tomato. What? Why? What? Oh God! Fuck you. Okay, you're ruining movies. Filmmakers hopefully watch, reviews, to take criticism and help. I mean, the reason for movie reviews is to tell them what was wrong with their movie and what they did right, and what other movies should try to do. And I mean, by saying shit like this, how does that help filmmakers at all? Oh, yeah. Thanks for watching. Don't use these types of criticisms in your reviews. I mean, some of these are legitimate, criticisms. Just don't overuse them like a lot of people are. And I'll have a review for Carrie up most likely tonight, so stay tuned for that. Blah, 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 blah.